Let's talk about exam anxiety. I got a comment on one of my videos saying, I'd love it if you could make a video on how to study slash manage stress during the lead up for exams. This person has their GCSEs in 3 months and they're seriously struggling to motivate themselves right now. I can kind of understand where this difficulty in motivation is coming from, especially from an anxiety point of view, because anxiety is something that everyone feels, first of all. So if you're feeling anxious towards your exams, just know that that's a completely normal response. So I think the first place to start off with is actually, what is anxiety? If we're looking at the Oxford Dictionary, it says that anxiety is the feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease about something with an uncertain outcome. Hold on to that. Or a strong desire or concern to do something or for something to happen. And so I think if you're not nervous about something, that actually just shows that you don't care about it, which is completely fine because not everyone has to care about everything. When I've been prepared for exams, for example, I've still felt nervous going into that exam. Even though I know everything's going to be okay, that stress or anxiety feeling is actually kind of motivating. It indicates to me, or at least when I feel anxious about something, it's a clear sign to me that I care about this thing, which is making me anxious. I'm invested in whatever this is. And so if you're feeling anxious, I think that is a great sign. But there's two types of anxiety. And I think you need to be able to distinguish which you're feeling. There's this normal kind of stress, which I'm explaining, where it will help you actually do better. It will tell you that, oh, you're doing something that actually matters to you, keep doing it. But then there's this second type of anxiety and stress, which is not useful. And this is the type which paralyzes you. If you're experiencing the type of anxiety that's paralyzing you, it's important to understand why you're feeling kind of helpless or why you feel like you can't do anything in this scenario. And if you're feeling the first type of anxiety, which is one which you're nervous but you can still take action, that's exactly what I would implore you to do. Take action, because the only way you're going to feel better about the situation or feel like you're going to be more comfortable when this situation actually comes is by being more prepared. And to be more prepared, you need to do something about it. So if we quickly take a step back to that first definition of anxiety, where it talked about the worry about an outcome, this is actually something which I recently came to the conclusion of myself, that a lot of negative emotions that we feel are all rooted in expectation of outcome specifically, which is not ideal to say the least because you can't control the outcome. The times which I feel the most anxious are kind of two scenarios. It's, what if I don't do what I predict I can do based on whatever I've done before? So for example, if I've got a record of getting a distinction in my exams, for example, when it comes to that next exam, it's not that passing is what I'm worried about, even though that's all that really matters. What I'm worried about is meeting the same bar that I set before. But if we take a step back, that is an unrealistic expectation in a way. Not that I can't get a distinction again, but I shouldn't expect myself to get a distinction again. Do you see the difference? Because there's so many things that change. The lectures are different. The content is different. The lecturers are different. How I'm going to be feeling when I'm studying is different. What's going to happen to me within the next 3 months whilst I'm studying is going to be different. The exam is going to be different. The grade boundaries are going to be different. People are going to score different scores, and that's going to change the mark for a distinction. So my expectation to get a distinction, although it's nice to aspire to, if I start to become anxious when the exam comes and I think, oh, it's because I'm scared of not getting a distinction this time, that's not good. And that comes back to my point of, it's the expectation which is causing a not so good amount of stress. Whereas where I've kind of shifted towards, consciously, mind you, because this isn't something that you're going to wake up and just be able to do, what I focus on is just studying as well as I can, understanding the content as well as I can, putting in as much effort as I can. All of those are inputs. Me studying, me understanding, me putting in effort, not about what comes out of that situation. That's not what I'm focusing on. And so I think the first fix to anxiety is changing your expectation from outcome to your inputs. Therefore, when you are rooted in your inputs as your kind of marker of success, it's up to you to hit that. The external circumstances can't change that. And then that comes back to the point that action is how you'll move towards your goal, and hopefully that will decrease the amount of anxiety, because once you see that you're moving in the correct direction, or maybe not even correct, but let's just say in the direction in which you want to move to, then I would hope that that would bring down your anxiety. And if it doesn't, then maybe you're actually not anxious about what you thought at the beginning, and you just need to reassess. Yeah, I've been procrastinating studying this morning. It is 11, and to be fair, it is a Sunday, and I had a tough football match yesterday, which we unfortunately lost. But yeah, I'm knackered from that. Let me go do some work and we'll continue this conversation. Not done yet. For those of you who are like me and just love logic or can only listen to logic, I'm gonna hit you with some logic bars in a bit. Controversial, I know. I study in bed. And I think the reason for why that is because in our flat we don't have a communal space. And so when I'm chilling, when I'm eating, when I'm watching videos and stuff, I do it at my desk over there. But I never really had the habit of ever doing anything in my bed, and I think that helps me go to sleep quite quickly. But at the same time, no, I can't study at my desk because my desk isn't associated with studying, it's just associated with doing everything that I would usually do, not at my desk, like at a table or something. And so now I can't really concentrate at my desk. But because my bed is literally just a place for sleep, and it probably should be. Ideally, I shouldn't study in my bed, but I just find it easier to concentrate here, to be honest. So, yeah. Okay, I've been going for about an hour and a half. Very rudely, Anki says I've only been working for about 52 minutes, so ignore that. After that, I think I'm going to go to the gym. A little bit of active recovery is always good. Nothing too taxing because, yeah, I'm already tired, but nothing says I can't do a light gym session. Whilst I'm taking my extended break for this period, I want to give you guys an example of when anxiety kind of got the better of me. But then I got an opportunity to double take the whole scenario essentially, and the changes that I made, which gave me a much better outcome, even though, like I said before, I wasn't striving for the outcome. So if we can rewind the time back to when I was applying to university for the first time and I wanted to do medicine, and I had no real idea how to prepare for this. I didn't really know that I could look online to figure out how to actually prepare for interviews until it was too late. I had prepared for about a week. I was extremely nervous because out of the 4 medical schools that I applied to, only one of them came back to me and offered me an interview. And so I had all this pressure on one interview to go right, or I wouldn't be going to medical school. And that really got to my head. I was so focused on the possible outcome of this interview being negative that it impacted the present moment of me actually doing the interview. I was so nervous. It was the most nervous I've ever been in my life. I was uncontrollably shaking during this interview, to the point where I would manually have to stop myself from shaking whilst I was speaking to the examiner, but I was stuttering, absolute thought drought. I couldn't think of what to say. And then, because these were online interviews, as soon as the interviewer was swapping and my screen was going like blank, I was going back to uncontrollably shaking again. And at that point, the anxiety, the adrenaline, the nerves, they were so much. There was no way I could perform under those conditions. I was not mentally in the right headspace to take that interview. And as soon as the interview finished, I knew, like, I'm not getting into medical school with that performance. And a few months later, when I got the results, I was like, yeah, I knew it was going to be a rejection. In that instance, it was being underprepared that led to that type of anxiety. And the thing that I learned from that was that that's such a preventable reason for being anxious. And this is kind of the message I want to get across to you. So if you guys have an exam which you're gearing up for, or it doesn't have to be an exam, it can be an event, it can be a specific type of opportunity. Preparation is the key to getting rid of that anxiety. And as this is kind of about exam stress, and the person who asked this is about GCSEs or A-levels, make sure you watch my video on how to prepare for your GCSEs, because that will give you the exact roadmap on how to prepare for it and how to make sure that you understand what the exam is going to be about. You understand how you're going to get from point A to point B, whatever your goal is for these exams. Definitely check those out. And then the following year, so I didn't go to university, the following year I reapplied, and now I'm in medical school. How did that happen? I realized my issue was in my lack of preparation. And so I made a plan, I practiced, to the point where I actually enjoyed doing the interviews, because I realized I'd put in so much work that I couldn't have done any more than I did. And so that allowed me this type of comfortability, because if at this point I get rejected, which I didn't believe would happen, I could be satisfied knowing that I put in 100%. And I think that is almost more impressive or more satisfying than doing something by fluke or not preparing. Actually putting in the effort and then knowing that no matter the result, I did the best that I can is so comforting. And it's the same for my half marathon that I ran. I was training for a half marathon. Stupidly, I did too much too soon, so I got injured. I couldn't train as much as I wanted to train. But as soon as I was given the okay by the physio or ChatGPT to go ahead and start training again, I trained as much as I could without getting injured again. And then when I ran my half marathon, I put absolutely everything into it, but I missed my target time. I was aiming for a sub-2 half marathon, but I missed it. I got 2 hours and 1 minute. 2 hours, 1 minute and 30 seconds even, whatever it says on the screen. But you know what? I was so happy with that race. And why was I happy with that race? Because of the input that I put in. And yeah, I was nervous for the race. There were some points where I was like, I don't even know if I can do this. But I'd have to bat those thoughts away and think, all I can do right now is train. Anxiety comes from worrying about the future, when the only thing that can actually affect the future is what you do now in the present. So focus on the present. You can acknowledge that you're scared of the future, but don't let your fears of the future come join you in the present, because that's not where they are. Your fears are in the future. You can keep them there. Focus on what you're doing in the present. So take action. All right, I'm going to go clip off these last 150 cards and then we'll go to the gym. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me and it's not too loud in here. But a few actionable tips, apart from actually stuff I can give you to kind of get rid of that anxiety, is to actually exercise. A lot of people go to the gym and stuff, but as soon as the exam season rolls around, they're like, nah, I need to focus on studying. I don't have time for the gym. That's not true, guys. You've always got time to better your health. And actually, exercise is great at mood regulation, and so is sleep. So if anything, you should be sleeping more and exercising just as much when you're close to exams. And then secondly, I would say stay away from negative people and don't entertain negative thoughts, because everyone gets negative automatic thoughts, but the difference is you can tell them to go away when they come. You don't have to dwell in them. You don't have to believe them. You can acknowledge that you were thinking, oh, what if I fail? You can clap back straight away with the mentality of, it doesn't matter, I could fail, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to put the work in. So you have to combat the negative thoughts and stay away from the people who always speak negatively as well. But yeah, this workout, I'm going to be hitting mostly abs, calves, shoulders. Well, I say shoulders. Maybe I'll skip shoulders, I don't know, we'll see. abs and calves. Let's start with the logic segment. So you guys are anxious, right? And you're thinking, how am I going to get rid of this anxiety? And I don't feel like you can get rid of the anxiety. The only difference in the actions that you take in terms of what it will do to the anxiety is that the anxiety that you'll feel will lead to different outcomes, or it will change the way you're experiencing your day, etc. I need to slow this down, I can't speak. Oh crap, I need to start my watch as well. Okay, let me get my notes. This anxiety, this stress, this discomfort, if you do nothing, you're still going to have this anxiety and this discomfort. But at the end of the day, you're going to have no work done. You're going to have no progress in your goal. But if you do work, if you put bricks down to start building the wall, then you're going to be making progress. At the end of the day, you might still be anxious, but you're that much closer to completing your goal. And you guys need to think that. You guys are going to be frustrated, disappointed. You're going to feel like you would have wasted an opportunity if every day you do nothing just because you're anxious. So logically, if you're going to be anxious either way, you might as well do something about it, or at least try and move in the direction which is going to result in you getting where you want to be. So like, for times like this, I wouldn't even say lock in and whatever, get into that lock-in mentality, it's time to do work. No, I would say stay present. Don't think of this 3 months. Don't think of this 3 months, this 2 months, this however long you have until your exams as a period in which you need to do work. Don't think that big. You need to think micro. You need to think every day or every part of the day which you have a task which you could do. Think, just do it. Like, just do it. Don't think about, oh, I need to lock in for these 3 months, because 2 days will go by and you'll think, oh, I've still got 2 months and 29 days, it's fine. But no, you need to start making the changes today. So every time a thought comes to mind about, oh, I should probably do it, just do it. Don't think that, oh, I can do it later. Because like I was saying with the bricks and the wall, you need more than 2 bricks to build a good wall. And this is the same thing. With the goals which you want to achieve, you're going to need more than just a few days of effort. You're going to need a lot of effort, but it doesn't have to be all at once. It can be a little across many days. And so yeah, screw the lock-in mentality for a few months or so. Just think, just do it, be present. And the thing is, you guys have to remember, life isn't about one pace and then you have to stick at it forever. There's this idea of periodization where it comes from strength training and stuff, but you can apply it to this as well. So periodization is when during specific parts of a training season you'll train different things, because you can't train everything at the same time and maximize everything at the same time. Sometimes you've got to build muscle before you build the specific strength or speed. With that same idea, even if you have 3 months until your exams, you'll probably find that you can study more than you've studied before, because you have this added pressure of wanting to do well. And you should really lean into that, like push the pace as much as you can. So say if you were studying 2 hours a day before, try study 3, see if that works, see how long you can hold that for. But obviously be careful of burnout. But what I'm saying is, whenever I've been in an exam week or been revising particularly close to an exam, I'll find I can study twice as much as I usually study without getting close to burning out. And so you guys need to test your limits as well. I think I'm going to close the video out there. I think I want my main takeaway message to be, don't let anxiety paralyze you. If you're feeling anxious for your exam, just try, be prepared. Put as much effort as you can into being prepared, and forget about the outcome. Don't worry about the outcome. Focus on your input. Focus on what you can do right now. Don't think that you're going to be able to get rid of the anxiety. You just don't want it to be the unhealthy kind, you know? I think that's a good place to end it. See you later, guys.